The wind on Kel-2 was dry and hollow. It whispered through broken towers and silent streets where nothing had walked for 1,000 years. Milo pulled his scarf tighter around his face, his boots crunching over cracked stone and pale dust. This was his last stop. He had searched 5 other dead planets this season. Every one had left him with nothing but tired muscles and empty hands. Kel-2 was different. It had once been the center of an empire, though no one knew much about the people who lived. Here, some said they had vanished overnight. Others believed they had left behind machines too dangerous to touch. Milo didn't care about the stories. He cared about trade something valuable enough to sell back at the rim. His scanner beeped faintly, drawing him toward a half-buried structure at the end of a canyon. As he stepped inside, the light dimmed. The temperature dropped. The air smelled like old stone and metal. He clicked on his headlamp. The building opened into a large chamber. In the center stood a black statue, taller than any he had seen. It looked almost human, but its body was covered in strange armor, and its arms were crossed over its chest. 2 green gems were set into its eyes, glowing faintly even in the dark. Milo stood in front of it, staring. "Those must be worth a fortune," he whispered to himself. He walked around the statue, scanning it for traps or energy. The scanner showed nothing. Dead tech. That was good. Carefully, he pulled out his toolkit and climbed up onto the base. He steadied himself and reached toward the left eye. The gem was smooth and cold under his glove. It didn't feel like glass. It felt live. He hesitated for just a second, then twisted his tool under the edge and popped it free. Click. The chamber trembled. Milo froze. The light in the room flickered. The statue's head tilted down slowly, and the green glow returned to the empty socket. No, Milo muttered. Dropping the gem into his pouch and jumping back, a loud cracking sound came from the statue's chest. A thin line of light ran down its middle. Then it split open, and something stepped out. It wasn't a machine, not fully. It had skin like black stone and arms that ended in sharp claws. Its mouth opened wide, showing rows of silver teeth. The creature turned its head slowly toward Milo, and then it spoke in a voice that rumbled like thunder under the ground. "Hungry. Your kind is my food." Milo didn't wait. He turned and ran. He ran through the temple halls, heart pounding in his chest, ears filled with the echo of footsteps, his and something else's. Something heavier. Something faster. He hit the outside light like a bullet and kept going. "Hey." Dust storm had started to rise, but he didn't stop to cover his face. He could hear the creature behind him moving through the walls of the old city, learning the paths, hunting him. Back at his small ship, Milo dove into the pilot's seat and slammed the hatch shut. He didn't bother with the launch sequence. He lifted off rough, scraping the landing gear against rock, then flew straight into the sky. Only once he broke orbit did he look down. A green light flickered across the surface of the planet brief, like a signal, then it vanished. Milo sat back in his seat, breathing hard. What did I just wake up? He opened his pouch and pulled out the gem. It glowed brighter now, like it was aware, held it up, looking at the way the light danced inside. Then it pulsed. For a second, Milo saw something, a flash of memory that wasn't his. A tall alien city, full of lights and machines, people walking the streets. Then fire, screams, shadows, the statue, feeding. He dropped the gem back into the pouch. That thing wasn't guarding treasure, he whispered. It was the treasure. Or maybe the prison. He reached over and opened a line to the nearest. "Station Drake's Rim? A trade post a few jumps away? Station command. This is Milo, freelance scavenger. I found something on KO2. Something dangerous." Static. Then a voice answered. "This is Terra, at Drake's Rim. What kind of dangerous?" "Hello." Looked out at the stars. The kind that was asleep until now. Milo's ship drifted through space, silent except for the quiet hum of the engine. He sat in the pilot's seat, staring at the gem. It now glowed even when he closed the pouch. It gave off no heat, but it felt alive, like a heartbeat pressed. Into his hand, the message to Drake's Rim had been sent. Help would come, he hoped. But deep inside, Milo felt something else. Fear. He had woken something that was never meant to wake again. Suddenly, the ship's console beeped. A long-range alert flashed red on the screen. Something had left the surface of Kale too fast. Fast for any normal ship. Milo leaned forward. No, that's impossible. He tapped the scanner. The signal was strange, like a mix of machine and organic matter. Whatever it was climbing through space with no ship, no engines, and no heat signature. It was chasing him. He didn't wait. He turned the ship toward a nearby asteroid belt and pushed the engines as hard as they would go. The stars stretched as he moved at high speed, weaving between rocks and debris. He couldn't outrun it in open space, but maybe, just maybe, he could hide behind him. The radar blinked. Then it stopped. The strange signal was gone. Milo held his breath. He powered down everything but life support. The ship floated among the asteroids, quiet as the grave. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Nothing. He exhaled slowly. Maybe it lost me. But he didn't believe that. Meanwhile, far behind him, on the edge of Kale 2's orbit, the being called Coral watched space with eyes that needed no light. It did not need a ship. It flew using energy taken from the planet's core-ancient technology built into its body. Long ago, it had been a servant of a powerful empire, sent to harvest the minds of rising species. It fed on thoughts, memories, intelligence. It fed on potential. When that empire died, Coral was sealed beneath the temple, locked inside the statue. It had waited, half dreaming, until someone foolish enough came close. Now that someone had taken its eye, the gem was more than just a key. Was part of its mind, part of its vision. It could see through the gem, even now, and it was hungry. Back on Milo's ship, the gem pulsed again. Milo looked at it with growing worry. "Why are you doing that?" he whispered. Then dashed another flash, a memory not his own. He saw a planet with blue skies and giant towers. Beings not human walked the streets, talking, laughing, learning. Then Coral came. It didn't use guns. It used sound, thought, fear. The towers fell. People forgot who they were. Their minds were taken like wind blowing away leaves. The image vanished. Milo sat back, shaking. "You feed on minds." His voice was quiet. Cold sweat ran down his neck. He didn't understand everything yet, but one thing was clear. If that thing reached a human world, it wouldn't just destroy buildings. It would destroy people. From the inside, he turned on the engines again and set course for Drake's Rim. Drake's Rim was a small trade station, floating near the edge of human space. It was home to about 2,000 people, traders, miners, and families. Looking for peace? Station leader Tara stood in the control room, watching the signal from Milo's ship approach. Her second in command, Jonas, frowned. He said something woke up on Kale 2, some kind of alien machine. Tara nodded. "Do we have visuals?" "No, just his word and a weird energy trail, but it's fading now. Looks like whatever was following him stopped." Tara didn't look away from the screen, or it's waiting. When Milo's ship docked, she met him at the hangar. He looked tired, dusty, and afraid. "Tell me everything," she said. Milo handed her the pouch with the gem. "It's not just a gem. It's a part of it, the statue, the thing I woke. It called itself Coral, and it's coming." She looked at the glowing gem in her hand. It seemed to pulse with its own breath. "And what does it want?" Milo met her eyes. "Us, our minds, our knowledge. It feeds on people." Jonas scoffed. "That sounds like a ghost story." Milo snapped back. "I saw it, Jonas. I ran from it." "You didn't?" "That thing is not a legend. It's real, and it's hunting us." Tara stood still for a long time. Then she turned to Jonas. "Raise shields. Prepare the station for lockdown, and get the science team to scan this thing." She looked back at Milo. "If you're right. Then we've got less time than we think." Far away in the shadows of an ice ring, Coral floated in silence. It no longer needed to chase now. It simply waded through the gem. It watched humans move, talk, and prepare. Their thoughts were open doors, their machines simple, their language easy to understand. They were so young, so full of life, so delicious. Coral stretched its mind into space. It would not rush. It would not strike too soon. After all, the hunt was only just beginning. Inside the control room of Drake's Rim, alarms beeped softly. The large viewing screen showed nothing but stars. Yet the tension in the room was heavy. Milo stood beside Terra, his arms crossed, eyes locked on the glowing gem inside its case. The scientists had placed it in a glass cube with protective shielding, but it still pulsed like a living heart. Terra turned to her team. "Any updates?" One of the researchers, Dr. Rami, looked up from his tablet. "The gem is reacting to something. It's sending out weak energy signals, like a beacon. Is it calling that thing?" Terra asked. "Possibly," Dr. Rami said. "Or it might just be connected. Either way, I wouldn't keep it here for long." Milo shook his head. "Can't destroy it either. It's part of Coral. I think if we break it, we'll just make him angrier." Jonas entered the room, holding a small data chip. "We've got motion near the edge of the system. Could be a comet, but the scanner's acting strange. Readings are broken, as if something is bending the signal." Terra stared at the screen. "It's him." Milo's chest tightened. He found me again, in the quiet space beyond the edge. Of the star system, Coral drifted like a shadow. He no longer needed to search. Through the gem, he could feel Milo's presence. It was like a warm light in a dark ocean, so full of thought, so full of emotion, so perfect. He studied the station from a distance. Machines spun slowly around it. Tiny ships moved in and out. He reached out his mind and brushed against them. Simple. Patterns. Weak systems. The humans did not understand what was coming. They never did. Back on Drake's Rim, Terra gathered the station's leaders in the central hall. Pilots, engineers, medics, and traders filled the room. Everyone wanted answers. Everyone wanted to know why the station had gone on alert. Terra stepped up. "We may be in danger. An ancient being, part machine, part living creature, has awakened. It feeds on intelligent life. It has already followed one of our own here." Murmurs ran through the crowd. Jonas raised his hand. "This may sound unbelievable, but we've seen signs. Energy readings. Scans that make no sense. This is not a drill." A miner near the back stood up. "So what do we do?" "Fight it." Milo stepped forward. "You can't fight it. Not like a normal enemy. It doesn't break doors up, breaks minds. I saw what it did to another world. They forgot who they were before they even screamed." The room fell silent. Terra continued. "We're preparing defenses. Shield upgrades. Signal dampeners. If we must. An evacuation plan." But even as she spoke, she knew the truth. If Coral reached them, a shield would be strong enough. Hours passed. In the research lab, the gem flickered again. Dr. Rami leaned in, watching its pulse. Then suddenly, the lights in the lab dimmed. The air grew cold, and he heard something. A whisper not through ears. But in the back of his mind, opened the box. He stepped forward, hand shaking. "You are curious? You want to understand?" He reached for the panel. His finger hovered over the unlock button, then dash bang. The door slammed open. Milo ran in, pulled Rami away, and slapped the emergency lock. "What are you doing?" Milo yelled. Dr. Rami blinked, confused. I don't know. I just heard something." Milo stared at the gem. Its light was stronger now, brighter, sharper. He turned to Terra's voice on the intercom. "It's trying to get inside our minds." Later that night, Milo sat alone in the station's garden. Dome, looking out into space. He could not sleep. His thoughts were too loud. He kept seeing the memory of those alien streets, that silent scream, the darkness that followed. Then the gem pulsed again. He saw a new image. Earth. Not as it was now, but future Earth. Empty cities. Gray skies. Silence. Coral had never spoken to him directly before, but now he felt the voice like thunder in his head. "You opened the door. You led me home. I will take what your kind builds, what your kind dreams. I will be your future. Milo stood up, jaw tight. No, he whispered. You won't. The next morning, Tara called an emergency meeting. We can't stay here. If Coral gets close, we're done. We need to split up. Scatter the people. He can't follow everyone. Milo nodded. But you'll need a distraction. Jonas looked at him. What do you mean? I'll take the gem and lead him away. If he's watching through it, then I can guide him where you want. Away from the people. Tara frowned. That's a suicide mission. Milo looked out the window where the stars waited. Maybe, but if we don't buy time, we all die anyway. As the station prepared for evacuation, Milo loaded the gem into his ship's containment vault. He took only what he needed: fuel, water, and one old photo of his family. He left a short message for Tara. Don't wait for me. Build something better. Survive. As his ship left the docking bay, Coral stirred from his stillness. The hunt had begun again. But this time, Milo wasn't running to save himself. He was running to save everyone else. Milo's ship moved through deep space, quiet and alone. He sat in the pilot's seat watching the stars stretch past. Behind him, locked inside a shielded box, the green gem pulsed softly. It no longer tried to speak, didn't need to. Milo could feel Coral. The creature was close, not right behind him, following, slowly, carefully, like a shadow moving just out of sight. Milo touched the screen and brought up the long-range scan. There just at the edge was a strange signal. No heat, no sound, no form, but it was moving, and it was coming for him. Back on Drake's rim, evacuation had begun. Tara stood near Dock 3, watching groups of families and crew board small ships. Children clung to parents. Traders packed only what they could carry. There was no panic, but fear was in every eye. Jonas stepped beside her. First 10 ships are away, heading toward the asteroid colonies. No sign of the enemy. Tara nodded. Let's hope Milo buys us more time. Jonas looked out the viewing window. I don't like using one man as bait. Neither do I, Tara said. But he offered, and honestly, he's the only one who understands that thing. It's somewhere. In dark space, Coral floated like a drifting god. It no longer flew like a ship. It became part of space, folding between stars. Slipping through shadows. The gem was his eye, and through it. He watched Milo. Humans were strange to him. Noisy, unpredictable, weak and yet clever. Their machines were not strong, but their thoughts were fast. He had studied many species, but humans were different. They feared, but they also fought. And now, one of them was running with purpose. Not from fear, but from courage. Coral was intrigued, but in the end, all minds bent the same way. All minds broke. Inside Milo's ship, the power dimmed for a moment. He reached for the controls. Come on, don't do this now. The lights came back. Milo checked the systems. No damage, just interference. But in his heart, he knew the truth. Coral was getting closer. He opened his personal log and began recording. If this message is found, I want people to know. I didn't plan to be a hero. I just saw something no one else did, and I couldn't. Forget it. If we let Coral reach a world, it's over. He doesn't need to fight us. He just takes who we are. He paused. But maybe, just maybe he can be tricked. Hours later, Milo's ship dropped out of hyperspace near an old mining colony called Vera 9. It had been abandoned years ago when the metal dried up. The station was still in orbit, barely alive, its lights flickering, systems weak. Perfect. He docked carefully and stepped inside. The air smelled like rust. Dust floated in the hallways, but the reactor still worked just enough for what he needed. He carried the gem through dark halls to the center chamber, where the old power core pulsed like a weak heartbeat. Milo placed the gem on a metal stand, then ran wires from the walls and attached small explosives around the room. He connected it all to a remote control. If Coral wants this gem, he whispered, he'll have to walk into a trap. Far away, Coral felt the gem stop moving. He turned toward it like a beast catching scent. The human had stopped running. That meant it was time to feed Milo. Stood on a nearby ridge in his ship, hiding behind Veranon's small moon. He watched the screen as a dark shape appeared, huge and slow-moving, like a living shadow. No engines, no lights, just KORR. It floated toward the mining station, pulled not by gravity but by hunger. Milo's hands tightened on the control. One step closer. He waited. Coral reached the outer wall of the station and passed through it like smoke through cloth. No braking, no sound. It's just slipping in. Milo hit the button. Boom. The station lit up with fire. The center exploded. Energy surged through the old core. Bright flames swallowed the room where the gem had rested. The shockwave reached Milo's ship and shook it hard. He stared at the screen. Smoke. Silence. No signal. Did I get him? He waited 10 seconds, 20. Then the light on the screen flickered green. Milo's heart sank. Inside the blast zone, the smoke cleared. Coral stepped from the fire, body glowing with red cracks but still alive. His armor had burned. His form had shifted, but his mind was untouched. He looked up toward the hiding ship. Clever, but not enough. Milo powered the engines and flew. This time, Coral didn't follow slowly. He moved like lightning. In moments, Milo's ship was shaking again. "Come on, hold together," he shouted. The back of the ship sparked. Systems failed one by one. Still, Milo didn't stop. He sent a burst signal to Drake's rim. "He's not dead. I tried. I'm sorry." Back at the station, Tara received the message. She looked at the stars and whispered, "Then we run faster." But Jonah shook his head. "How long can we keep running?" Tara looked at the children boarding the last shuttle. "As long as it takes." Milo's ship flew into a gas cloud to hide. He shut off everything: lights, power, even life support. For a few minutes, he sat in the dark, breathing slow. "I'm not giving up," he said. "You hear me, Coral?" The gem still hidden in the case pulsed once more. Milo whispered, "You think we're prey? You think we're just mines to eat?" He leaned forward. "But you've never met humans like us." Milo floated silently in the gas cloud, deep inside the cockpit of his half-damaged ship. Systems were low. The lights blinked faintly. The engines were sleeping, and only the smallest life support kept him breathing. He sat still, wrapped in a thin blanket, eyes locked on the gem sealed in its container. The green light inside it had stopped pulsing for now. But Milo could feel it. Like a cold breath on the back of his neck, Coral was close. But this time, Milo wasn't afraid. This time, he had a plan. On Drake's rim, the last evacuation ships had left the docking bays. Tara watched them disappear into the stars with a mix of relief and sadness. Jonah stood beside her. "That's it. Everyone's out." Tara nodded, and Milo, no signal for hours. Just silence. She looked out at space, toward where Milo had gone. "Come back," she whispered. "Don't become another ghost." Inside the gas cloud, Milo tapped his console. Power returned to the ship, little by little. He opened a small box near his seat. Inside it was a thin headband with small metal nodes. He picked it up carefully. It was called a Neuralink, a device used for training pilots, teaching languages, and sometimes sharing memories. But Milo had reprogrammed it. He was going to try something dangerous. He was going to connect his mind to the gem, not just to see through it, but to pull Coral in. He placed the headband on his head, took a deep breath, and tapped the activation button. At first he saw darkness, then came images fast and broken. Planets falling, species screaming, towers cracking under pressure, worlds being drained of thought, and then eyes not human. KORR-RUL. A voice like thunder filled Milo's mind. "You cannot fight thought, human. Cannot fight." "Me," Milo answered, calm and clear. "I'm not fighting you. And what is this?" Milo smiled, even as his body tensed. A trap. Coral entered Milo's mind. He expected fear, pain, chaos. But what he saw surprised him. Walls, traps, mazes. He turned. And every direction led to another hallway, another locked door. Every thought he touched turned to dust. Every memory he tried to steal disappeared. Roared in anger inside Milo's head. "What is this?" Milo's voice echoed back, not with fear, but with strength. "This is a human mind, confusing, wild, free. You came to feed, but now you're lost." Milo's body shook. Blood ran from his nose. His fingers trembled, but he didn't disconnect. He said he had to hold Coral in the trap, even if it meant breaking his own mind. "Just a little longer," he whispered. Inside the mental trap, Coral changed form. He split into shadows, into snakes, into stars. He tried to break the walls, rewrite the thoughts, take control. But every time he did, new walls rose. Memories of Earth, memories of music, of laughter, of pain, of victory. He did not understand this chaos. He could not consume it. He was built to feed on order, on clear thought, on organized minds, but humans were something else. Messy, emotional, powerful, and that power was now burning him from the inside. Milo focused harder. He thought about his mother's face, his father's hands, the first time he saw the stars. He forced every feeling into the trap. Hope, love, grief, joy. The more he sent, the more Coral screamed. Too much, too loud. Milo gritted his teeth. "You said you feed on us." He leaned forward, voice shaking, then choke. Outside the gas cloud, strange energy flared. The stars twisted for a second. The light bent. Then something exploded in silence. A wave of psychic force rippled across the system. At Drake's rim, alarms blared. Tara rushed to the screen. "What was that?" Jonas pointed. "Came from Milo's location. Something big just happened." Tara didn't wait. "Send a drone. Now." Inside the small ship, Milo collapsed. The neural link broke apart. Smoking, the gem had turned dark. He coughed hard and opened his eyes. The voice was gone. No more visions. No more whispers. No more cold. He reached for the container, opened it, and looked at the gem. Cracks ran through its surface. He smiled weakly. "You're not so scary without your mind." Then he passed out. Hours later, a rescue drone from Drake's rim found Milo's ship drifting. Power was low, oxygen nearly gone, but he was alive. Tara met the rescue team as they brought Milo back. He was weak, pale but breathing when he opened his eyes and saw her face. He smiled. "You're still here," he whispered. "So are you." Tara replied. Later, Milo told her everything. How he had used the neural link. How he had built the mental trap. How Coral's hunger was not just physical, it was about control, about clarity, about draining thought like water, and how human minds, wild and strange, had been too much for him. "He couldn't understand us," Milo said. "He wanted clean thoughts, simple thoughts, but we're not simple." Tara nodded. "So in the end, that's what saved us." Milo looked up at the stars. "No, not just that." He turned to her, voice steady. "What saved us was the choice to fight." Milo sat in the recovery room of Drake's rim, wrapped in a thermal blanket. His hands were still shaking from the mental battle, and his head hurt as if it had been struck by lightning. Across from him sat Tara, watching him with quiet eyes. "So, it's over?" she asked gently. Milo looked down at the small metal box on the table between them. Inside, the cracked green gem lay quiet and dull. No pulsing light, no voice, just a broken stone. "I don't know," he said. "I pushed Coral deep into the trap. His mind couldn't take it. The gem stopped glowing, so I think maybe it worked." Tara leaned forward. "But you're not sure?" Milo nodded slowly. It wasn't just in the gem. It was everywhere. In space, in thought. If even a piece of him survived somewhere, he could come back. Tara closed the box gently. "Then we stay ready." Later that day, the remaining crew and civilians of Drake's rim gathered in the main hall. Milo stood at the front, surprised by the crowd. They clapped quietly when he entered. He wasn't used to that. Tara stepped up beside him. "This is Milo," she said. He faced a creature that fed on minds, something no weapon could kill. But he found another way. He used his own thoughts, his memories, his pain, and he trapped it. Someone called out from the back.
Ow! Do we know it won't come back?
Milo stepped forward. "I don't know if it will, but I know this. It came thinking we were weak. Simple, easy to consume, but we're not." He looked around at their faces, miners, traders, engineers, kids. We're hard to understand. It's hard to control. That's what makes us dangerous. The crowd stood quiet. Then someone began to clap again. This time, others joined. It wasn't loud, but it was honest. Milo smiled. For the first time in a long while, he felt like a part of something. That night, Milo walked alone in the garden dome. The stars above were peaceful again. No strange lights. No dark signals. It's just the quiet beauty of space. Tara joined him. "You should rest," she said softly. "I can't sleep," Milo replied. "I keep thinking about what I saw in my head, about the planets Coral destroyed, the people who never got a second chance." Tara looked at him. "You gave us that chance." "Was just lucky," he said. "If I hadn't found the gem, if I hadn't run, you wouldn't even know he existed." "But you did find it," she said. "You didn't run forever. You turned around. You fought back." Milo nodded. "Still doesn't feel like enough." The next morning, a new ship arrived at Drake's Rim. It was a science vessel from the outer colonies. The crew had received Milo's warning weeks ago and came to investigate. Their leader, Dr. Ellen, sat with Milo in the lab. She examined the cracked gem carefully, scanning it with soft blue light. "This isn't just a power source," she said. "It's part of a larger network. Like a seed." Milo frowned. "You mean there could be more?" "Yes," she said. "The alien empire that created Coral probably built others. If one has survived, it's possible others are still sleeping." Milo's heart sank. "And if someone finds them?" Dr. Ellen met his eyes. "Then we better be ready to teach them what you taught this one." Over the next few days, work began. To upgrade the station's defenses, scientists from different colonies arrived, helping Tara and her team build new system psychic shields, add mind sensors, and early warning detectors. Milo helped where he could, but his mind was often far away. He didn't speak much, but he listened, and he watched. Every time someone laughed, every time someone told a story or fixed a broken panel or shared food, he felt a strange warmth in his chest. These were the things Coral could never understand. This was what made humans strong. Not their weapons, not their ships, but their hearts. One evening, Milo returned to the lab where the gem was stored. He stood in front of the sealed container for a long time. Then, slowly, he placed his hand on the glass. No pulsing, no sound. Still, he spoke. "I don't know if you can hear me. Maybe you're gone. Maybe not. But just in case." He took a deep breath. "You thought we were just minds, just food. But we're more than thoughts. We're stubborn. We protect each other. We build things out of nothing. You don't understand what it means to care about someone." His voice grew steady. "You thought you were the hunter. But now you know we can bite back." He turned and walked away, leaving the gem in silence, far from the station. Deep in the void between stars, something moved. It wasn't alive, not fully, just a broken memory, a piece of thought left behind by Coral. Weak, lost, floating. But then it stopped and faded. Coral was gone. For now. Back on Drake's Rim, Milo stood at the docking bay once more. His ship had been repaired. Supplies were loaded. Tara met him one last time. "Where will you go?" she asked. He smiled. "Out there, to look for more of them. If there's another statue like that, someone needs to find it first." "You sure you're ready?" "No," he said honestly. "But I'm going anyway." Tara handed him a small badge, silver with the station's logo, "in case you ever want to come home." Milo looked at it for a long time. Then he pocketed it as his ship rose into the stars. He looked back at the station, small, bright, alive. Coral had wanted to take their minds, but Milo had given them hope, and hope he knew now was the one thing that monsters could never eat. Milo's ship cut through the black silence of space. The stars moved past like tiny sparks on a dark cloth. But inside the cabin, Milo felt something new, a quiet strength he had never known before. The gem was gone. He had left it behind at Drake's rim, broken and powerless. The monster it had held was trapped, maybe forever. But Milo knew his fight wasn't finished. There were more worlds, more statues, more darkness waiting to wake. His ship approached a small rocky planet in an uncharted system, the scanner showed. Nothing but old ruins on the surface. The kind of place where secrets sleep for centuries. Milo landed carefully. The air was thin, but breathable. The wind whispered over broken stones and shattered walls. He walked slowly toward a temple half buried in dust and shadow. Inside, the silence was thick. Milo's footsteps echoed. The walls were covered in strange symbols, faded and cracked. At the center stood another statue, this one taller, more detailed. Its eyes were empty sockets. Milo touched the pedestal and felt a faint hum beneath his fingers. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the silver badge Tara had given him. He placed it on the pedestal. A soft light spread from the badge, illuminating the statue's face. Suddenly, the ground shook. A low rumble filled the air. Milo stepped back as the statue's chest slowly opened, revealing empty darkness inside, but then light, soft, warm light. Unlike anything Milo had seen before, it flowed from the statue's core like a beating heart. The voice echoed not cold and hungry like Coral's, but calm and strong. "You have returned," it said. Milo's heart raced. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am the Guardian," the voice replied. "I was placed here to watch over the lost worlds, to protect life from the darkness that seeks to consume it." Milo looked up, hope rising inside him. "Can you help us? Can you stop the hunger?" The statue's light grew brighter. Together, "We can." Back at Drake's rim, Tara and Jonas watched the stars. They had sent out messages, warnings, and prayers. They had rebuilt defenses and shared stories of Milo's fight. Then, signal came, clear and steady. Milo's voice. "Find the Guardian," he said. "It is the light against the dark." Milo stood before the statue, feeling the power flow through him. He thought about the people he left behind, Tara, Jonas, the families and the world still in danger. The battle was not just about survival. It was about hope, about courage, about what made humans strong. Their hearts, the statue's light, wrapped around Milo like a shield. He felt fear melt away. He was ready to fight, to protect, to shine in the darkness, in the deep black of space. Where monsters once lurked, a new light had been born. Not a light that destroyed, but a light that gave strength, that gave hope, that reminded all beings that even in the darkest night, the human spirit could shine bright. Milo stepped outside the temple. Looking up at the stars, he knew the road ahead was long. The darkness was still out there, but so was the light, and he was not alone.